Woo! Hi everybody, how are you? Nice to see you guys. How are you? So, let's rock. Let's rock, 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 let's. Yeah. Welcome into the Phantom, my home, my house, my studio, my studio. Yeah, okay. I hope everything is okay. Rebeliel, it's similar. This song is really inspired to one of my favorite guitar players, who is Steve Stevens. It is amazing. It's similar to Atomic Punk. Okay, if you know that album it's amazing. Okay, where can I find the backing track, please? Alexander Sajiran. The backing track will be available for you for free. It is my backing track. On the G66 web channel together with this patch. So, okay, I will describe this patch. Will be free after this how can I call tutorial? I don't know, this presentation, this package. Okay, you can find the backing track and also the preset. It is for XFX3 at the moment. I will convert also for FM3, FM9, and nothing else. Okay. Oh, there is a comment in Cyrillic, but I cannot read. Sorry, I have not the Cyrillic translator. If you can type in English, to me is better. So I hope everything is okay. The audio and video is okay for you. Okay, there are a lot of friends to hello. Wow, how many? From German, from Russia, I think, because Cyrillic should be Russia, or okay, some of Italian, of course. Massimo, Alessandro, Alexandre, Sagirand. Okay. Well, leggero fuori sync. Okay, so this is only a problem. So, sorry, I refresh the page. Just a moment. Stay there. Okay, just a moment. Okay, hear me again. There is a bit not synchro. Now it should be okay. From Bulgaria, I can see. Now I lost the chat. So, welcome to my studio, and I wanted to speak about Fractal World. Why I call this evening as a Fractal World? Because I would like to speak about my favorite gear with Fractal devices, and wanted to share with you some infos, some hints, some tricks, some backing tracks, some presets, what you want. And of course, I'm ready to answer to your question. I hope to answer to your question. I try to answer to your question, but okay, perfetto. Ora from Poland, yeah. How many countries? Mutella, Italy. Good evening. Okay, so let's start immediately. Okay, and thanks so much to G66. Not in my heart, but very close to my heart. Thank you very much for G66 to give me the opportunity to introduce you the Fractal World, and I go immediately to introduce you to the Fractal, to the G66 website, where you can find a lot of information regarding the Fractal device. You can see here, okay, but you can also see here, okay. Now there is a part of the Fractal devices, okay, under my feet, okay. XFX3 is missed, but not missed because he's here, okay. So more or less there are all the devices from Fractal. The family increased with the FM9, in the middle between FM3 and XFX3. So first of all, I wanted to give you some important information about the modeling, because many people make some confusion to compare Apple with Pear, and I want to spend 1 minute to describe what is modeling or modeler. Modeler is completely different from the profiler. there are two different worlds. Maybe the final result could be the same, but the philosophy is completely different. To describe the profiler, to me, is pretty easy. Profiler is, you can assume to record your analog amp on a track, on your Logic or your DAW, digital audio workstation, okay? When you record that track, and okay, you can only equalize the track. You can compress, you can equalize, you can add some effects, you can add something. But if you record with the wrong sound, for example, there is too much highs, too much bass, there are too much mid-range, or you need to there is a low gain, so you need to increase the gain. You have to record again the track. Okay, that is a profiler. Profiler is a photo of your amp, not only from your amp, the amp, the cabinet, the microphone, and really important, the positions of the microphone respect to the speaker. And also, there are some other components like the preamplifier for the microphone. There is also the ambient, where you get the recording of your track. So there are, okay, it is a photo. If you need to change something, you have to make a new record. For this reason, in some studios, you use the reamp. The reamp is a technique that lets you to record the real amp, the sound from the microphone, and the sound of the direct sound of the guitar. So if you need to change the sound, okay, you have the, let's say, the dry track of the guitar without any effects. Okay, you can reamp the sound with the different settings and so on. This is the profiler. The modeling is completely different. The modeling is a virtualization of the amplifier in all of the parts. All means the preamp section, the tone stack, the gain sections, the boost, the all settings. It depends on your amp, of course. The power amp, of course, is really important. All parameters that regarding the power amp, it's really complex. And you have because you have the virtualization, you can adjust your amp as you want, like in the real world, exactly in the same. If you have a GCM 800 Marshall, and you need to increase the gain or switch off the boost or to decrease the presence and so on, you can do anytime you want. This is really important. So please don't make any confusion between profiling and modeling. Model is completely different, okay? For example, in Fractal, we can see later on, you have more than 270 models of amplifier, okay? In a profiler, you need the real amp, or you need to buy the profiler of the amp. It's completely, if you buy the amp, but you are not satisfied with the result of the profile, you cannot do nothing. You can only equalize the profile, but you can't, for example, exchange the cabinet or exchange the microphone and so on. Maybe the cabinet, yes, but okay, it's different. It's not worse, it's not better, it's different. Okay? Oh, okay. Before to answer to your question, I hope that you have a lot of questions. I wanted to introduce the G66 website, and I wanted to show you some important so hide the G66.eu, where you can find all the details of the products, and of course you can find, for example, the news like this evening event. You can find some videos demo, and of course you can find the specifics of the production, the Fractal production, XFX3, for example, or FM9, the last one, okay. And of course you can change the language, change it to English, okay. you can of course buy. You can buy you don't find, you will not find the Fractal devices in any shop, because Fractal is distributed only by G66, and this is really important. Okay, so you can buy on the Fractal shop. You can also find the Red Sound. It is the digital speaker, special design for modeling. For modeler, the MF10 is a project that I developed with Red Sound. MF is my Marco Fanton, and Helix 8 it is the same version with the 8-inch speaker. These are FR speaker. So you have also the B-stock material. You have here the mission pedal, of course, and accessories. Accessories are really important because you can find some cables, cables to connect the pedals, cables to connect your device with the XLR cable, for example. Ambassador cable is really important if you want to connect the Fractal device to the real amp. Because don't forget that Fractal is not only model, but is one of the best multi-effects at the moment in the world. So many guitarists use the Fractal as multi-effect for their amplifier. And to connect, the best connection of Fractal with the amplifier is made by the Ambassador cable, and you can find the details on the manual. Okay, what is pretty important on the G66, I suggest you, it is the artist page. So let's switch to English again, sorry. The artist page. This is really important because, of course, there are some artist information on Fractal, but what is more important is the artist preset and also the MF preset. So artist preset means that you can find preset from Larry Mitchell, my dear friend Larry Mitchell. Okay, you can find presets from the Steve Stevens, they're amazing. Another God, David Townsend, great musicians, and the amazing Pete Horn preset. Okay, you can download, and of course, you can download all my presets here. This preset is for AXFX3, for example, is with the full resolutions, impulse responses, and you can find a lot of presets. These presets are made for FM3 basically, but you can also use for FM9 and FX3. This is really important because one important features of Fractal is you can have the same sound between all the units, and this is really important. The presets are fully compatible between FM3 to FM9 to AXFX3. It's, let's say, possible also to make vice versa, to install an AXFX3 preset on FM9. This is true, but with some limitation, because AXFX3 has much power, much more power, and has more blocks. You can, in any case, import the preset, and automatically the system will reduce or cut the part that cannot have. But it is important, because if you set up your rig in a proper way, you can save most of the part of your job. For me, for example, I develop my rig on AXFX3. When it's finished, I import on FM3. Of course, I check what block are cutted or are not in the FM3 because they are not really present. Like for example, the amp block or the cabinet block. Okay, but it's easy because I have AXFX3 and FM3, the core of the rig is already imported, and I I do some small adjustment to get the sound. Of course, the power of FM3 is not the power of XFX3, but what important thing is the sound is absolutely the same. The amp block, the amp simulation, the cabinet block is the same. Reverb block is the same. And this is really important because in a very small unit like FM3, okay, you have all your sound that you develop on XFX3. And this is absolutely important. Okay. Let me check if there are some questions because I wanted to give you, you are much more important than me. Can you add the tone match block to FM3? Diane Spasov, sorry for, I try to to pronounce your name in a correct way. I can do nothing. I can only build my preset. The tone match, it is a feature that you can find only on XFX3. It's not FM3 and FM9 has not this kind of features. So it doesn't depend on me, of course. Okay, Mark, what is the difference of your preset from FX3 and FM3? As I told you, there is a lot of difference. I can show you immediately the editor of XFX3 now. Okay, this is the editor, and I can show you the editor of the Fractal FM3. Okay, so you can see the difference. The difference is in the matrix. Matrix of FM3 as a 4 row, 1, 2, 3, 4 by 12 column. Okay, but XFX3 has 6 rows by 20 column. So on XFX3 and FM9, because they are the same layout, they have the same layout, you can have much more effects block, and also the power of XFX3 is let's say is 4 times the FM3 power. So the difference between FM3 and FM9 and XFX3 is in the power. So FM9 is more or less the double of FM3. I can say a bit more than double, and XFX3 is the double or FM9. So the ratio is by 2, by 2, by 2. Okay. So the main difference on the FM9 editor is absolutely similar of the editor of XFX3. Remember that you need to download the editor anytime for the proper device. You can download every software on the support page. Okay. You can download the firmware, the manual. Manual is absolutely important. The drivers, if you use the Windows. If you use a Mac, you don't need drives. You have all software related to the XFX3, the editor. Fractal boot, it is the utility to upload or download the preset, but absolutely I don't suggest you to use the Fractal boot. The Fractal boot is useful to upload or to upload the new firmware, or to make the backup. Backup is absolutely important, as much as possible, guys. Anytime you change the firmware, you have to make the backup. Anytime you have the possibility, make the backup of every part of your system, because everything could happen, and it's absolutely necessary to make the backup. One important hint is when you do the firmware update, it is absolutely important to make the backup for 2 reasons. One is anytime you make the backup, could be possible. It's really rare, but could happen that something something fails, and you have a possibility to recover the unit, but if you can lose all of your preset, first of all. Second things is, if you update the firmware and you are not satisfied for any reasons, if you save the preset with the new firmware and you downgrade the firmware to the old one, you cannot see anymore the preset saved with the newest firmware. Remember this. This is really important. And this could happen because sometimes in the new firmware, for example, when we change the operative system from RS to Cygnus, some people are not happy and want to come back to RS. But okay, this is absolutely possible. You can downgrade the firmware when you want, but remember that if you save a preset with the new firmware, you cannot see anymore that preset on the oldest. This is absolutely important. Ok. Ciao Giampiero, Elian, sì. Ray Duxbury, where are you from? Hello Marco from Seattle. Wow. Throw Healing Pabo. Is correct? Davide Bernardelli, ciao Marco, I was just a bit late. What is the topic of this live? The topic is to speak about fractal world. Okay, I'm open to your question, and if you have no question, I will introduce some important things about the fractal world. First of all, I'm describing the link that you have to remember. The first link to remember is the G66 link. It is the website of the European distributor of the Fractal family. So, and in this website, you can download, you can have all informations, you can buy the Fractal devices. And of course, you have also the Fractal audio. Okay, it is the official, it is pretty similar. It is the official website of Fractal. Okay, it is similar. The style is similar. You have more or less the same information. You have some products that has not G66, like the cap pack, for example, and other products. Okay, let's come back. There are some other questions. Marco, what kind of a response could you have using my studio active speaker at home instead specific speaker like Alice? Response, what means? Okay, at home instead you mean the monitor, the studio monitor. I use the studio monitor. Now I'm using the in-ear monitor, but I usually have my studio monitor here. And the important things when you create the sound, and later on I will do an example how to create your sound. The most important things when you create your sound is to have your system reference device. So it's not important. Let's say the quality is important, of course, but doesn't exist a special system for the modeling. It's the same system that you use for any sound engineer use for his job. Okay, so you have thousands of brand of the studio monitor, 1,000 brand of headphone, in-ear monitor, FR speaker, okay? But the important thing is that you use your system, reference system. The quality is absolutely important, but okay, usually when I create my sound, I check the sound on my monitor, on my in-ear, on my headphone, and on my car stereo audio system, because in the cars I listen, let's say, the 90% of the music. So if I have in mind a special sound, I want to compare this sound in the same ambient that where I listen that sound. So it makes no sense that I use a special things because it's completely different of my. It's not a reference. This is important. Typically, I record my sound. Okay, I check it. No, it sounds nice, sounds good. Then I take the MP3 file, or as you prefer, digital form, and I play that song on my car audio system to have the reference. And usually I play other, for example, I love Toto, love Steve Lukather, and I try to play Steve Lukather's song, and I try to play my song, and I compare to have a comparison of two sounds. This is my method to create the sound. And also really important, when I play on my gig, I ask to the sound engineer how is my sound, if need to make some equalization or to make some compression and so on. Now when I go to when I play live on stage, sound engineer says I do nothing, equalization flat, I only to tweak the volume. That's it, and I'm so happy because I'm happy because I am sure that the sound I create is the same sound that goes on the FOH, on the PA system. Okay. So please don't say there are special FR or studio monitor or headphone. Use the typical headphone. Now I'm using the in-ear monitor. It is a handmade in-ear monitor from Lake Sound. It is an Italian company, and this is my headphone. It is Bayer Dynamic DT770 Pro, 8 ohms. Nothing special. It is a standard headphone. But the important is that you have used the same headphone for every kind of sound. Otherwise, you lose the comparison. Use the parameter to compare two different sound. Okay, let's go ahead. Greetings from Hamburg, Germany. Thank you, Scott. From Germany, Feiner Mechaniker. Okay. Riff and Destroy. Marco, do you know if the same support of ER full res from FX3 Mark II Turbo will be available for FX3 standard? Cheers from Brazil. Yes, it is. Ciao, Riff and Destroy. You can use with from. Since sorry for my English. Since firmware version 17.01 or 02, you can find some full resolutions impulse responses also available for the Mark I AXFX3. The full resolution impulse response are let's say are not easy to handle. Okay, you have to understand the philosophy behind this. The full resolution has to be used as together with the main impulse responses. It's only, let's say, create an ambient sound, but you have to use the standard impulse response, and you have to add the full resolution impulse response, left and right, hardly panned left and right. You can download, if you wanted to check, you can download on the artist page. On the artist page of G66, you can download this MF Friedful preset to check and to have an example of using the full resolution impulse response. Okay. Okay. The Sash. Ciao, the Shas. How are you? Matteo Kocianic. Okay, ciao Matteo. Got my answer, thank you. Yak Official, thank you. Do you adjust the input level on the Fractal knob for the level, or do you use the input block in the editor? Stefano Masi, usually I don't touch anything. I let the parameter as default. I only check if the input level occasionally goes to red LED, and in case I set up I tweak I go to the setup. Okay, I show you immediately. I go to the setup and set up the what is it? Audio input. Let me check where input level. Okay. Sometimes I can adjust here the input level. This is FM3. XFX3 is different from FM3, but I only check if the input levels is okay. Typically, I don't touch these parameters. Only if you have a very powerful guitar, you need to touch this parameter. Usually, you stay as they are. Okay. Benedica, the Supersonic, ciao. The Sasha, full res is only available on slot 3 and 4 of the cabinet block. Yes, exactly. The Sasha full resolution are only available on. I can show you a preset with. Let me check. Fruitful is here. Here the preset. This is the cabinet. Okay. And you can see the main impulse response is here, and on cabinet 3 and 4, remember only on 3 and 4 you can upload on picker. You can have some full resolution impulse response on the legacy. The last 10 legacy impulse response are made for. You can see are paired impulse response, one for left and one for right channel. And when install, you have to pan left and right, and use the level to adjust the amount of full resolution impulse response, because otherwise the effect is not so nice. It is a really it's a really amp in the room, but it's similar to be in the, let's say, in the restroom. So you have to tweak in the proper way. Okay. Okay, Billy Arsenault, you seem like you like them. Yes, exactly. So you don't use neither the real input knob on the upper front side of FM3. FM3, for example, the real input. What is the real input knob? There are no input knob, Stefano, on the FM3. No, you are the level for the outputs, but not for the input. You can adjust on the FM3. You can adjust. I can show you on the setup. Okay, just a moment. Let me check. There is a part where audio USB input. Okay, you can set up the pad of the input. So 0 dB is no attenuation, 6 dB of attenuation, 12 dB, or typically I let the default as 6 dB. This is the input configuration for FM3, but you have no input level available. And the input block, you have also no input block. You have the threshold. Is the threshold of the noise gate, but it's not the input. You have output level of the block, because any block on the rig has the output level control, because you can increase a lot. Typically you have to let the output the block to 0, and for example the input, you can adjust the threshold and the ratio of the noise gate included in the input block. I'm talking about the two knobs that are above the screen on FM3. Yes, that are the output block, Stefano, output, and it is analog output. You mean this knob, but these knobs are not. Let me. Okay, I show you. You mean these two knobs? But that knob are made to tweak the output 1 and output 2 on FM3. They are not for the input level. Okay, what in-ears are you using, Billy? I am using in-ear from Lake Sound. Okay, it is an Italian guy, let's say, because it is only one guy that created. It is handmade, very nice. These are special in-ear monitor with 7 drivers. A bit expensive, but really incredible. Okay. Wait, was in the middle part? What do you mean, Schuster? Sorry, I didn't understand. I'm talking about, okay, thanks. Okay, perfect, Stefano. So let's go ahead with the website. So this is the G66. Another important website you have to remember is the Bible of Fractal. It is the wiki Fractal, wiki.fractalaudio.com, and this is really important because you can find here all information of all Fractal devices, also the legacy devices like the AX8, the XFX2, the MF101, the FX8, the pedals, maybe the Ultra also. You can find any information. And I also suggest you to have a look on the last link, the EX guide to the Fractal audio amp model. On this link, you can download a very interesting PDF file. I already prepared here. It is it is made with all the unit, but they are pretty the same because the most of the amp simulation are here. And you can find a very interesting guide that is very useful for all users, not only digital users, but also for the analog user. And you can find a description of the name, the name of any amp, simulated amp on Fractal. For example, you can find information about a 59 bass guy. Okay, remember that on Fractal, for the copyright reason, you will not find the same name. You will not find the name of the clear name of, for example, Marshall, Fender, or whatever. You can find, let's say, a nickname that remember you. For example, Marshall is not Marshall, but is Brit. Fender is deluxe or double verb or whatever. Bogner is not Bogner, is Euro. Okay, Friedman is clear. Friedman is clear, and you have a lot of names. So to understand the relationship between the name on the modeling and the real amp, you can use this guide. You can download on the Wiki Fractal. And you can hear, for example, you can see Brit JM45, it is the Marshall GTM45. Okay, if I click on here, 61, you have a very nice description, a very useful description of this unit. Okay. Marshall first borrowing a lot of Fender Bassman. Without a master volume control, you have the description of the amp. You can find some clips. These are the links to YouTube where you can find some clip about and video and sample of the amplifier. You can find here the speaker, the suggested speaker for this kind of amp. For example, 4x12 or 2x12 Marshall cabinet with Greenback G12M or G12H speaker. Stock cab, Marshall stock cab pack. So you can also buy the cab pack from Fractal. The web manual, if you can find it, the amp control, the presence bus, and you can read the history of this amp. This is very useful. It's also useful for the analog user. So because sometimes you can find some amplifier that you never see in your life. For example, I can show you the Cameron amp. It is a boutique amp. Okay, I know that exists this amp, but I never seen the model of Cameron CCV that sounds like a one-piece of amp. It's a very bright amp, Cameron CCV and Fractal F68. Okay, and there are some sample of this amp and the history of the amp. It's really important to understand what kind of amp you are using, and mostly the speaker, because to me it's really important to match the cabinet with the amp. And sometimes in the real world people don't take care about this. I have a special boutique amp, Bochner Ecstasy for example, but they don't care about, the cabinet could be 4x12 but with some speaker, I don't know, Greenback V30, I don't know what is inside. The cabinet, to me, it is, let's say, the 60% of the sound. And the impulse response is not only the cabinet, is the cabinet plus the microphone and the position of the microphone respected to the speaker. And also some other stuff like preamp and so on and so on and so on. So I already did some tutorial regarding the matching of impulse response at the amp. So go to the tutorial, because you can find what the relationship between the amp and cabinet. Usually I don't use any EQ on my rig, because I spend my time to match the proper cabinet with the amp. So I, for example, go to this guide. Okay, I check which is the proper cabinet for the amp, and I try to find on the cabinet list in the Fractal editor the similar cabinet. Then for example, if this cabinet if this amp want the G12H, I try to find a similar cabinet, at least for the first step. Then I try a different one, but for the first step I try to combine, because it is the same like in the real world. What do you do? Typically, if you have a Marshall GCM 800 or GTM 45 or Bochner Ecstasy or Friedman and so on, typically you get the proper cabinet for this amp, and the cabinet sounds completely different bit cabinet and cabinet, speaker and speaker, and of course on the digital world you have the microphone. It's really important, because most of the guitar player, the analog guitar player, don't take care about the microphone. In the digital world you have to take care about the microphone. Why? Because what you listen from the modeling, the digital model, is not the amp, the typical amp in the room sound. It is the amp with the cabinet, with the microphone, on the mixer, and you can listen the sound with your in-ear monitor. So sometimes some people say, but the amp is better than digital and so on and so on. But what is your benchmark? Because if you want to compare the real amp with the digital device, you have to be in the same situation. Same situation to me is you are in the recording studio, okay, with your monitor, you have your digital device, and the amp is in the recording room with the microphone, and you listen digital modeler and your amp from the same device. Same device means the studio monitor. Makes no sense to listen to hear the amp on the room, because that sound only you can hear that sound. But the people that want to listen to you you have to use the microphone, and microphone is really, really important. The typology of the microphone, SM57 for example, or Royer 121, or Bayer Dynamic, and so on and so on. And the position of the microphone, because if you change the position of the microphone, the sound changes completely. Okay. Let me check your question. What limitation FM3 for live gig? FM3 versus FM9 live. What are your thoughts? Well, Shaolin Pabu. Saturday night I played with FM3, and to me, I play in a Toto tribute band, and to me, FM3 is enough. FM9 give you more power, more possibilities, okay, more switches, because FM3 has 3 switches, but I will show you where you can find my tutorial to use the 3 switches in a proper way, and to me is enough, especially when the space on the stage are really really small. Like Saturday I have, let's say, maybe 1 meter by 50 centimeter space. So I'm really closed, and only FM3 can fit in that space. FM9, not. But to me it's not. There is no absolutely problem. Of course, you have to understand how to use in the proper way, and to prepare your rig in the proper way. For example, download my preset. You can understand how to use the preset to have different scenes. Different scenes means you have from the same preset, you have it clean, you have a crunch, you have lead with wah, lead with more delays, with more reverb or more gain, and so on. And you can do this only with a single preset, and it is. Of course, if you need special sounds, okay, a special rig, you can go up with FM9 and with XFX3. Depends on your needs. If you play AC/DC song, you need an amplifier, a cabinet, a bit of reverb to create the ambient. That's it. So FM3 is perfect. If you play, I don't know, U2 or David Gilmour or Muse, very complex rig, you need XFX3. Okay, depends on your need. Absolutely. But remember, the sound is the same. Okay, I agree. Here is a crucial point of shaping the tone. Perfect, Stefano. Okay, Jakovic, can we sim acoustic guitar sound with our electronic guitar on XFX3? Yes. I have already an acoustic simulation. Okay, using the acoustic impulse response. I will show you. I wanted to show you my YouTube channel, guys. Okay, this is my YouTube channel. Please, okay. I suggest you to check on the playlist. Okay. I also have the Fractal School and the Fractal School for Italian guys. I don't know if to make the Fractal School is let's say a training is 12 or 14 lessons, okay, for the membership, for the subscriber who have activated membership, okay. And there is also the Fractal. No, not sorry, is not here. Let me check the playlist. No, there is only one. There are. Let me check. Fractal FM3. Sorry. Marco Phantom Sog. There are backing track if you want. Where is it? Fractal Tutto. Fractal School. Yes, it's Fractal School. Okay. English. And you can find here creative preset live a gig, for example. You can have how to optimize the CPU power percentage to create complex presets. Okay. And you have other lessons. 3 different stereo chorus with the Fractal, how to create the best sound in English. For this is really important. How to organize your rig for live. I created this tutorial, how to activate the tuner with the volume and pedal, introducing my new patch, for example. This is a very clear explanation how I created a patch, how to use the 3-foot switch in the best way. To me, of course, but please check these tutorials are open, are free, and you can understand how to use your FM3 or XFX3 or FM9 in the best way. How to set the preset level, very common question that I receive. How to set up my level in the preset. And if you have special request, I can create a tutorial. Okay, so remember, you can type Marco Fantone on the search bar of YouTube, and you can find any videos I already recorded. Okay. Let me check your question. The sash. The camera worked great with the Marshall 4x12 with 30 cabinet. And yes, the cabinet has a huge influence on the sound. Absolutely, the sash. Which is a favorite amp sim from the Fractal world? Oh, very good question, Stefano Masi. Typically, my favorite is because in my real world I use Bogner, so my favorite is the Euro sim. For example, I would like to show you this is the preset I use with my tribute band. And I typically use the Eurored Modern. As you can see, the settings of the knobs are practically the default. I don't touch so much the knobs of the amp. I decrease the bass and maybe sometimes I touch the treble or the presence, and the drive. But typically, what I work a lot with the impulse responses. This, for example, is a response. The impulse response from Valhalla is external responses. It's based on an orange 4x12 cabinet with this special microphone. And for the clean sound, I use typically the custom audio clean amp. I will show you. This sound is, there are a lot of effects. Typically, for example, I use, now I'm using the FC12. I have 4 scenes here, then I can switch on and off the chorus, delay, plex. This is the looper, for example, for this layout. one important thing is with the, with the FC pedal board, you can have up to 9 layout. This is layout for the looper, but I can have a layout with all effects here, or all scenes, or presets, and so on and so on. I can change by typing these two foot switch, and I can access to the 8 layout simultaneously. So, for example, I can switch on and off the effect. The basic sound is here. Okay, I would like to show you how I create my presets. Okay, I would like to share with you the Spawn X3 is a similar preset. Okay, as you can see, I have the input. So first of all, you have to think in the same way of the analog world. It's not there is nothing. Let's say nothing. It is different because you can think in the same way of the audio engineer. I will show you. So the path is from left to right. The input block. Typically, I use the compressor. Compressor is in my first position. The same philosophy of the analog world, absolutely. This circuit with volume and wah let me to switch the volume pedal or wah pedal depending of the multiplex. Multiplex is a block that can select the row, okay, depends on the scenes. For example, in the scenes number 1, the Mplex block input select is row 2. Row 2 means this is row 2, okay, where there is the volume. In the scene number 4, it is the same preset, but I changed the channel because every block has up to 6 channels, depends on the block, and I can select the row 3. Row 3 means the volume is bypassed and there is the wah activated. So with the same pedal, depending on the scene, I can select the volume or the wah. Okay, it's not easy. I also create a tutorial to explain this in the details. Okay, then I have the phaser or the tremolo, what you want, the drive if necessary, the amp block. In this case, I use the Spawn Q-Road OD2. Okay, it is nice, very nice to me. This is the clean. I use this amp in parallel because I like to have a possibility to use 2 amp and to have the completely seamless switching between an amp to the other one. Only XFX3 and FM9 has 2 amp possible. FM3 is only 1 amp, but every block, remember, you have 4 channel. 4 channel means you can select a different kind of amp, for example, Brit Brown or what you want, of course. okay? So I typically, this is my rig. 1 amp is for the distortion sounds and 1 amp is for the clean sound. The cabinet is the same. In this case, I selected one of my favorite cabinet is the AX GB57. And this is really important, guys, because how I select this cabinet. Remember, the cabinet explanation you can find on in the wiki, Fractal. Go to the cabinet model list. So on the EX guide, I check what is the best. For example, I can select the spawn. Let's go to the summary. I select the Control F, spawn. Spawn. No, what is the name? Sorry, the correct name is spawn. Spawn with A. Spawn. Okay. Nitrous Q Road. Spawn is the spawn quick road. Okay, let's select and check this spawn. The cabinet speaker 4x12 cabinet with G66 Greenback vintage 30. Okay, you can use different cabinet. To me, the best one is the sorry, I have to come back here. The AX GB57C. What means this this cabinet? This cabinet means 4x12. It is the shape. It is the form factor of the cabinet for speaker by 12 inch. AX is the manufacturer of the cabinet. GB typically is the name of the speaker. Greenback 57 is the name of the microphone. If I go to the picker list, I have, for example, GB 121. It is the Royer, for example, 121 microphone. It is a ribbon microphone, or 160 is the Bayer Dynamic. It is a ribbon 2. You have different kind of microphone. And what is really important is there is a letter at the end. What means this letter? This letter means could have different significance, different meaning, and typically is the position of the microphone on the speaker. And this is really important, as I told you before. And I can show you with this preset. If I select a different cabinet, okay, so you can understand how it's possible that with the same cabinet, the same speakers, the same microphone, the sound change significantly when you change the letter. That means that you change the position of the microphone. I don't know how many analog guitar players take care about the position of the microphone. Typically, they put the microphone more or less in a position and that's it. But sometimes 1 millimeter change everything in the sound. It's incredible, and you can hear the difference. For example, this position, maybe the microphone in the center of the speaker. This position maybe is absolutely dark, and maybe it is in the borderline of the speaker. So, my important thing is to spend a bit of your time to understand the characters of the different cabinets. This is the most important secret, hints, suggestion as you want. It is to know very well the behavior of the amp and cabinet when you change the different cabinet. Change the sound change dramatically. So, for example, if I change the cabinet here, for example, let this cabinet as the default, and I change, for example, here. This is the very small cabinet, 1 4-inch cabinet. So I select 4x12. Okay, here. For example, this is the Marshall 9060A. Let's select this one, for example. This is the same cabinet, the same microphone, but two positions completely different. The sound is dramatically different. Come back to my favorite. Is this one, maybe? I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, so sorry. Is this one? Okay, see? I like the punch. Very nice. Okay, and this preset is made only, the sound is only cabinet, amp, cabinet, and reverb. That's it, nothing else. Okay, let's check your question. I love the Bogner blue and red model and the axe, but I could never deal in a good tone with the K3 rhythm and lead. The sound always very bassy, the Sasha. Let's check the custom audio here. Let's change the channel. For example, let's select this one. Okay, the custom audio lead. If there are too much bass, you have, of course, you can decrease the bass. When you select a new amp, I suggest you to type Command I or go to the block and reset to recover the default parameter of the block. The amp, sorry. Then tweak a bit. To me, it's nice. Let's check the rhythm. This is the Splown rock. Okay, let's check the rhythm. Kai. This is the rhythm channel. Nice. Okay, let's switch on the bright. Usually the Sash, I don't like to touch so much the equalization of the amp. If something doesn't play in the correct way, I prefer to change the impulse response. If this impulse has too much basses, I can check and I can cut the bass here. Okay, for example, cut to the low cut to this is very important. Usually I put this value always to over 100 hertz to avoid too much bass on the low range. Absolutely necessary. Okay. Stefano Masi, what is and how what is the use the saturation switch on the amp block? I don't use typically the saturation switch. It is I don't remember exactly what is the meaning of the saturation switch, but we can check together. Okay, how can I do this? I go to the wiki Fractal and let's check the Control F saturation saturation. Okay, let's check saturation switch. No, it is in the amp block. Okay, let's switch to the amp block and let me check if there is a saturation switch. Saturation. Okay, saturation drive preamp. And this is an explanation. Enabling decrease the power amp smoothing result in the main distortion. This switch enabled and default certain models also try to amp types GCM. Okay, you can read the description and you can try yourself to enable the saturation switch. Okay, typically is in the ideal panel or let me check. No, it's in the preamp. Sorry, not anymore in the ideal panel. Saturation switch. You can try to switch on. The effect in this case is not good. Okay, it is a parameter that regarding the saturation typically is located between the preamp and the power amp. If the model doesn't have much preamp gain, like 59 bass guide, then the saturation switch will have the little effect. A real amp would is a bit okay. You can find it. It's like a boost between the preamp and the power amp. Okay, I don't touch typically this parameter. Okay. Let me check if you have other questions. Replying to Marco Fatona. Hello. Ciao, Marek. Hello. Carved wooden spoons. Carved wooden spoons, quindi cucchiai di legno sagomati. I try to understand the Italian translation of the carved wooden legnoso. I don't know. I don't remember. What do you recommend for a nice acoustic dynamic mic? For what? Carved. For what? For the acoustic guitar, I suggest typically I prefer the condenser microphone. But depending if you play live, I use, for example, the Shure PCM 81 or a Sennheiser A664. Depends, but depends what you need, because a condenser microphone is really dangerous when you are on the stage with the drum, with the bass player, and so on, because the condenser get all everything from the stage. If you are alone, condenser is perfect. Otherwise, dynamic could be the classic SM57. Morgan or Matchless, which one do you prefer? It's the same. It's different. So they are so different that I have not preference on this amplifier. I like both, depending. My favorite sound, in any case, high gain sound like this. Okay. What drive do you use for boost scene for super lead? Typically, okay, if I use a plexi sound, let me check. Okay, here I use the fast boost typically. Let me select again this plow. Okay, fast boost to me is one of my favorite. I would like to show you a trick to get a sound for Eric Clapton sound, for example. I select the clean. Okay. Okay. On the clean sound, I like, for example, for the custom audio 3 Plus clean is one of my favorite. You can use the input boost, okay, and you can select different kind of boost. Neutral means only you can add some dBs, 12 dBs, for example, boost on your amp. But you can also have the drive modeling of the boost inside the amp. This is very useful, for example, on FM3, where you have to save the CPU power. And for example, you can have, there is also a new one, maybe it is the fast boost, yes, is available also here, okay. But if you try the mid boost, for example, okay, and you can decrease the boost level. Decrease a bit, okay. Okay, I switch off the boost. Okay. Now the scene has too much things inside here, but you can hear what you can do with the simple boost on the clean amp. Ok, Marco, un saluto, Fabio Sciullo, Stefano Masi. So many amp models to discover and dig into, and so little time. Stefano, it is one of the big benefits of the Fractal world. You have more than 200. I don't know exactly the number. Maybe now they are. Let me check. I'm honest. I never use all 219 different amp. Sometimes the amp is the same, but is different channels, for example. But typically, you have to focus on your favorite amp, like in the real world. You don't buy all the amp in the world. You like Marshall, you buy Marshall. You like Bogner, you take Bogner, and you can select. And don't forget, guys, that the factory presets are really helpful for you. I will like to show you the presets are the factory presets are really helpful to understand. For example, the Plexi 50 to understand a typical Plexi sound. If you need, for example, the 59 bass guy. Navigate on the preset are very helpful to understand the combination of the preset. For example, the AJ Eric Johnson clean, for example. I don't know Manhattan, but you can imagine the sound. Or, for example, the 6160 is the PV 6160. Very nice. Or you can select blah blah blah. The fast, for example, the fast amp are not a real amp. It is let's say a mod, the modded amp of typically it's the same that some electronic engineer do on the original amp. For example, the GCM 800, some people are able to modify to increase the gain, to put some mid-range boost equalization and so on. So Cliff Chase do the same things. So bring the GCM 800 and put some modification. Are virtual modification, but it's the same like in the real world. This is like the brown sound is Okay. Factory presets are useful, but MF that plays them and showcase the amp is priceless. Thank you very much, Stefano. Recognize PV, yes. Me too, PV rocks, yes. Okay. PV, for example, is the 5153. It is the AVH. For example, this is my preset. It is a factory preset. You can find maybe this preset you can find on I don't remember exactly, but maybe you can find on G66. Or the factory preset 5153. Okay. Well, I would like to also give you a very important hint how to create your sound. Let's come back to my presets, the spawn that I will also give you on G66 that you can find on. Let me check. MF spawn X6 3. Okay, this is really complex. Well, I created this preset with a lot of delays. Let's just a moment. I want to select. Okay. There are a lot of effects here. As you can see, all the ambient effects are after the cabinet. This is really important to me because I create the same situation you have in the studio, in the recording studio. In the recording studio, you never have the effects on the loop, the send right on loop, but you have every delay, plexi, or what you want, the reverb, and so on. You have after the cabinet. That means that you put the microphone inside the cabinet, over the cabinet, and you go to the mixer, and on the mixer you put every delay. This is let you to have the stereo effect and to have a very, very nice ambient like this. Maybe these sounds have too much ambient for you, but please try to listen this sound over a song. For example, I want to show you. I get a song from Toto. Okay, it's very. This song is from the last album, Alone. Okay, this song has a lot of things inside: keyboards, guitars, sequence, and so on. And it's the typical question that some people give me is, how can I create a sound to be in the proper way in the mixer, in the mixing? Okay, and the answer is always, but did you have the perfect listening of your of the band? Because if you have not, if you are not aware how the band is playing, you cannot create the sound that fit in the mixer, in the mixing. This is really important. So the first step is not to take care of the sound of the guitar, but to take care of, to have the perfect listening of the perfect feedback of your band. This is my personal hints to have the best guitar sound. And you have to create the sound to fit into the mixer, the band mixing. Sorry. And it's not easy because you have your mindset as the same of the sound engineer, not of the guitar player. Because typically guitar player want to have his sound as much more loud as possible. But when you're a sound engineer, your sound has to be in the mixer, not out. I play this song. It is Alone. Okay. Okay. Seems so rich, but when I play this song, you can find the completely different things. Very nice song. And what I wanted to say you is I use a lot of ambient effects in stereo mode, and I try to create my sound to be in the same the same. It's like I'm let's say in the same stage or with the steel looker. This is my target, to create a sound that fit the mixing, the total mix of the sound, not completely. If, for example, if I close every, if I switch off all ambient effects, delay and reverb, the sound is different. It seems that my guitar is out of the mix. Okay, ciao Guido. I can play again. Now there is no ambient, only a bit of reverb, but the guitar is not a part of the mix. It seems something out of the mix. Okay, now I switch on delay and also the chorus, and I play again. I switch off the effect. Okay, I hope that I gave you an idea how to create the sound. The sound is not only the amp, the cabinet, but is only a very deep, let's say, work on the ambient effects. So you can download these presets tomorrow, okay? Because after the live stream, I will send it to G66, and you will find the preset, and you can tweak, you can play, in this preset there's everything I do with Fractal. It is, let's say, my master work for Fractal. Okay, Matteo Kociancic, and rumors about FM9 availability. Unfortunately not, maybe in the first quarter of 2022. Unfortunately, guys, there is a very bad situation about the shortage of the semiconductor. So the electronic market is not in a very good position due to this. And I hope that this will not influence so much the availability and of FM9 in Europe. Okay. Stefano Masi, how do you spot the breakpoint of amp to obtain a clean sound that becomes crunchy when you hit harder than guitar? Do you use a guitar volume to adjust? Absolutely yes, Stefano. Usually my clean sound, you can also, you can also check here, is not really clean. Okay, I will show you again. If I select the clean, the clean sound to me is not clean. Is a bit crunchy. And I use not only the volume but also the dynamic of my finger. And I also use the compressor to cut the peak. To me, it's really important to play with the dynamic and to get the crunchy sound or the clean sound simply with the volume or with the finger. Okay. Best age of breakup amp. Best age. It is only in your feeling. Your feeling that, for example, on the clean sound here, the drive is more than half, 5.69. It's not really clean. And also the compressor help. If I switch off the compressor, the compressor help me to raise up the volume, but keep the clean sound. Okay. Okay. Well, I record my initial guitar, and I hope. Okay, if there is other question, otherwise I can close the session. What do you think about this session? Do you like that I make, for example, periodically Fractal question and answer? So every 2 weeks, every week, every month. Well, in English, of course. My English is not perfect, of course, but maybe it's understandable for many guys and I'm not a native speaker. What do you think? Please write down on the comment if you like or if you don't like, if you agree, if you have other questions. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Fantastic. Thank you, Marco. English is great. Thank you very much. Totally impebble. Yeah. Monthly Q&A would be cool. Okay, monthly Q&A would be cool. This is a good idea. I love it, and I'm looking forward to more videos. Okay, the Sash. So, monthly Q&A could be nice. Why not? Every week for so we can play in the middle every 2 weeks. It's okay. On Wednesday. Now it's Monday. Typically Monday I have there is Phantom is my It is a format where I interview some famous guitar player. But on Wednesday every 2 weeks I can make the Fractal Q&As, Fractal hints, and so on. Your English is better than my Italian. Thank you very much, Sash. Okay, so I would like to say you hello with my song, and also you can find this backing track on. So tonight I have so many gifts for you. I give you this patch, this MF Spawn XFX3, and this backing track. So, and if you want help me, you can also subscribe a membership. Maybe the basic, you have different level of membership if you want. And if you subscribe the membership, you have monthly a free patch of mine available for FM3 or XFX3 every month, and backing track. So you can decide. There are different level of membership. From Sostenitore Avanzato is advanced membership. You can have everything. From the basic, you have only the backing track. But if you wanted to support me, you're absolutely welcome, and thank you so much. Otherwise, you can download the free preset on the G66 web channel, or you can buy my presets on my my website, marcofantone.it. Okay, so Okay, yeah. So we can create a context with this backing track. How do you think? What kind of water player? Amazing. Thank you very much, Roland Magnet. Yeah, so please, you can find my information on my website. My website is this one. Sorry. www.marcofanton.it. You can visit my website. You can download and buy my preset, or you can go to the G66 and download the free preset. I finished. Let me check the other. Please write your comments below the video and tell me what do you think about this. Great job. Thank you, Donny Conky. Mao Garibai, super cool session. Thanks and keep on rocking. Great sound and play. Thank you very much, Mao. Roland Mengedot, what guy and what play. Thank you so much. G66, rock it, Marco. Thank you, Jim. Marco has the best guitar face. This is true. My face is absolutely natural. I don't force, absolutely. No, it's my face. I'm idiot like I am. There is no any trick. What you see is what you get. I don't do nothing. It is my absolutely natural faces. Robin Minor, awesome. Thank you so much, Robin. Massimo Romagnoli. Ciao Massimo, saluta Camilla. Vi aspetto per il 17. Yeah. Very informative session. Thank you very much. Yak guide, etc. Thank you, Marco. Saluti in gamba. Thank you so much, MT. Chris Nice. This excellent info, Marco. Thank you, and please keep in doing stuff like this. Thank you so much, Chris. Ray, Duxbury, thank you, Marco. What we get, we like. Oh, thank you very much, Ray. Marco, can you comment on how deal in parameter to get the sound to feel good, transformer, sag, and compression, etc. My Jim, I told you, I never touch so much the amp settings. I prefer to search the perfect impulse response that fit and match in the proper way the amp. I prefer to don't touch so much the amp parameter. This is my hint. If I don't like the amp, I change the amp simply, or I change the impulse response. This is I don't go too much in deep to the amp as is created by Cliff Chase. Okay, thank you very much, guys. A big ciao to you. Subscribe to my channel and see you next time. So stay in touch with me and for the next Fractal World session. Okay, thank you.